What's happening, fandoms? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we react to music videos and shows. Today we're back to The Expanse, and this is the season premiere, season 5, episode 1, titled Exodus. Last episode we wrapped the events of season 4, which primarily took place on the planet of Illis, or New Terra, depending on who you ask for the name. And it was a hellscape filled with proto-molecule horrors and things trying to kill everyone on the planet, including a tidal wave and neurotoxin slugs and a blindness virus that was infecting everyone. And yeah, ultimately though, we had the help of Miller to find the sort of the center of this planet, where hiding was a bit of whatever it is that killed the proto-molecule race, and somehow interacting with that caused the planet to go inert, and for that thing to basically kill off all of the proto-molecule defenses and subsystems that were causing the planet to be so horrific. And everybody got to go back home, and the scientists and the colonists joined forces to create a new colony there, and with the absence of the real bad guy, Mertry, everything was hunky-dory apparently. And we are headed back toward the solar system with our crew on the Rocinante. And given my knowledge of Book 5, which I am still rereading, the events of Season 5 are going to refocus back into the inner planets. And we're going to spend a good amount of time, perhaps the whole season, in and around Earth and Mars. And with the new addition of Bobby's storyline tying into the Belter plot, I imagine we're going to see a little bit more Bobby working with Christian. And yeah, I guess I shouldn't really make any predictions, because the further along we've gotten, the more significant changes the writers have made to this show, to the point where I honestly don't know what order anything is going to happen in. But I am excited because there's some big stuff a-coming, and some rocks on their way toward Earth that are hiding and will be difficult to stop. And so we're going to see some tragedy soon. If not in this very first episode, I can't imagine it would be much more than the second. So I guess we'll just dive in right here and see where we go. If you'd like to see full-length versions of this episode and all of our other shows, they're available on our Patreon. The link is below.
The first episode of every season is available for free to watch on our Patreon.
Thank you.
Nothing you do now will stop what's coming.
Yeah, what's coming? Rock number 9. Okay. Oh boy, we're in the thick of it now.
What the fuck?
We've got a hull breach. Deck 6.
Seal it off. Everybody gear up.
They are being attacked? Is that what's happening?
Good to go.
Damn.
Take this to the ship.
They don't want anybody to have data on what they're doing. That was a preventive measure. Uh-oh. Foot stuck in there? Oh no. Yeah, that thing's gonna blow.
Please! I need help!
Boom.
Help me! That's good.
Yeah, this was a placeholder for an event from the books, I think, to show that Philip is fully bought in, willing to sacrifice his men to accomplish the goals. Tycho Station. We haven't been to Tycho in a long time. Been at least since season 3. Oh man. Oh, we're not following that thing, huh? We're going somewhere else. We're just spinning around Tycho Station seeing stuff.
The repairs are taking longer than expected, but
Sasaki, you and your crew really
I like that.
Yeah, you hear that a lot.
Guy walking on the ceiling because there's no gravity here and it doesn't matter.
Then the alternative.
Very cool.
Please stand by.
They get the good guy discount.
That is not a thing.
The arrangement predates you.
Fred gave me the okay himself. You've got a problem, take it up with him.
Believe me, I will. Now,
Interesting.
Tycho is a business that is dipping in the red, and your ship has been taking up a valuable step for way too fucking long. Now, from now on, no more special treatment, no matter whose flag you're flying.
Interesting that we get Bull in this season instead of season 4 or
All right, just a minute, horse.
season 3.
I have something for you.
Right?
You couldn't use a com.
massive corporate mining operations underway, extracting precious minerals and creating vast new fortunes for colony.
Yep. Looking pretty good there, Holden.
Hey, how's the Rossi?
Coming along. Still a ways to go.
No, it can't be ready soon enough.
Yeah.
Everything okay?
Yeah, just a couple of things I have to deal with. You should probably grab dinner on your own. The UN has deemed this.
Oh, yeah, those things are all over those planets, huh? Yep. Interestingly, even though the rings are open and everybody's going, we're going to spend most of our time not on those planets in this season, I think. Not even going to really look at them. There's some fun scenes with Amos's travel that I hope we get. I think he made it clear he wants quiet.
So, we have a new service for passenger.
Here we
Insurance
go.
to protect yourself and once you love. So what do you say? Give you good peace of mind?
But we get insurance before when we board.
That one is fire. This one cover everything. Oh, good for you.
Point is, I learned some things about myself. I learned that I could hold my breath for almost 2 minutes while engaging in physical, stressful activity.
So,
you have to ask yourself, how much damage do you think I can do to you in 2 minutes before the knockout gas gets to me? Because I'm betting it's a lot.
There a problem, Kay?
Oh, yeah.
No problem. I was just letting your associate know that nobody in this cabin pays for any of your insurance or anything else from now on.
Amos don't brook no bullshit. I was hoping they would include that scene. And future ones related to it.
Why you do that? On ship like this, we know we have to pay. They come after us now.
Oh, he
Where
took.
are you going?
He
I'm
took
gonna take a
Murtry's
You
bag.
crazy, yeah? You know what they're gonna do in there.
Yep. I hate waiting.
He wants to get it over with. Yep. They're just gonna cut to the end result here. Yep, we get a little bit of Amos. Nice. All right.
Having a front row seat to the almost destruction of the universe tends to change you.
Yeah.
You look, well rested.
Yeah, he bulked up a little for this season.
Inside, I'm a mess.
He was emaciated last season. This season, he's bulkier.
I'm working on a story. Relax. We're not on the record.
Yeah, of course he's on the record.
All of the protomolecule in the solar system was destroyed.
Earth, Mars, and the OPA all confirmed it publicly.
They're lying.
How would you know?
Because why else would someone be doing protomolecule research at a secret facility in the belt?
Oh, Coach.
My sources.
That sounds like a rumor.
But you clearly don't think it's impossible.
I think a lot of crazy shit has gone down over the last few years.
Yep. Oh. Okay, well. That's right. Monica might be in some trouble. I mean, oh, the Razorback. Who's driving the Razorback?
Okay, sorry. I'm not trying to show off.
Alex.
What makes you think I have access to something like that?
Do you?
Oh, she's trying to chase down this dude that was their informant.
Like I said, we're done.
I think that's
Don't
the same
contact me
dude.
again.
It'll take 500K, Martian, to make the deal. I know that's a lot. On top of a lot already.
But Bobby got herself some power armor.
I truly appreciate your faith in me, ma'am, and I do not intend to let you down.
Ah.
You're saying these things are a threat to us?
I am.
Yeah.
And how did you know that?
Every time I pass through a ring, for a moment, it's like I pass through their world. I see them. And each time I see them, they seem angrier.
What you're worried about is pure speculation.
He hasn't been wrong yet, though. I didn't think that Fred was working with Dawes. But I guess that's...
The keel is laying down
true.
nicely. We're gonna call this ship the Gatamang Ferranti. It means Guardian of the Frontier. We'll talk about getting rid of the protomolecule.
Yeah, he's just straight confirming.
Nothing's ever gonna change.
You gotta stop focusing on the end of the world.
Believe it or not, the world will go on without you.
Not in this story. He's connected. This feels like Mars, I think.
Science and technology.
Are you looking for a purpose? A new life?
Yeah, they're really driving this whole get out of here narrative. Where are you at, Alex? That's what I thought. What are you doing,
Alex.
dude?
I didn't even know if this was the right address.
Here's the answer. You don't get to know. You're not a part of our lives anymore. We don't owe you any closure.
Wow. Yep, that was just as harsh as he deserved.
Now, we're 2 weeks away from the planet and getting great looks on the scopes. And the idea of going outside with no suit and free air. You're a good Martian, Bobby Draper.
She took care of Isai's family for
We're
them.
gonna build a city.
That was very kind of her.
And maybe someday you visit.
That's the Bobby I know.
Glorious.
Wow. Okay.
See you soon.
He's meeting Bobby at a cowboy bar. Oh boy.
Hey, Bobby!
This is. Oh, this is cringe.
Well, I guess something with your training.
Not much call for a court-martialed Marine these days.
Guess not.
She's not really opening up here.
Well, I guess times like this, that's what family's for, right? How's everything
Brother?
going with... Yeah.
We haven't been in touch for a while.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, whatever it is, I'm sure you'll fix it.
Why?
What?
Why are you sure?
Because you're you, Bobby. Gotta stay positive.
I'm staying realistic. Some things can't be fixed, and sometimes you're a fucking moron to try.
Oh, okay,
Ooh,
that's no way to
jeez.
be.
I have to go there now.
Then we'll do whatever it takes to get the Rossi ready to roll.
I chartered a freighter bound for Palace. It leaves in a few hours.
Okay, I'll get packed.
No,
Yeah, she's not bringing you, buddy.
I leave in a few hours.
You don't want me to go with you.
This is the season of
I've
the
somehow
Rossi crew all going their
been
separate
able to live
ways.
with the fact that I saved myself and couldn't save him.
Yeah.
This may be the only chance I ever have to see him. His father is gonna get him killed, and if I don't at least try and stop that from happening,
Yeah.
I'll never be able to live with that.
Marco turned Philip into a lieutenant in his army, basically. He is in danger. No context. What are we looking at here? I mean, it's beautiful imagery. I love this. This looks like a lunar surface. Maybe we're landing with Christian. Damn. Such a cool shot. Oh wow, the scale was deceptive. That's Amos. We're not. That was Amos going to Luna. Huh, okay.
And second of all, they were all alive when I walked out.
We're not here to arrest you, sir. With your escort. This way.
I didn't do it, and if I did do it, it's not my fault. Ah, cool. Are they taking him to Chris? They're taking him to Christian. Okay.
You don't seem like the state trustee type.
I don't know what that is.
Huh?
Can I go now?
Sit.
She does look good. Man,
What's this for?
For teaching me how to walk in mag boots. It comes in handy, especially in this godforsaken place.
You and I have very different life experiences, Chrissy.
Don't call me that. I'm a member of parliament, not your favorite stripper. Intend to kill anyone down there? I won't bail you out if you do.
Can I go now?
He did not give her any information. I guess she's
one of ours.
From time to time. What have you got for me?
You're a woman of considerable means. I should be charging you for this.
Think of it as giving a glass of water to an angry old woman who's dying of thirst in the desert. Why would Marco Inaros destroy a science ship?
I'm not convinced he did. The match was only 53.7%. That's a coin toss, so don't get too excited.
Too late.
Yeah. She's willing to grasp at anything you give her. And we know it was a Marco faction thing. It was Philip himself. They're doing good work with the CGI this season. I especially liked that they had the dude walking on the wrong surface. The Augustin Gamara. Oof. Yeah, that was the ship that Naomi helped destroy. Oh, that's
Why do they hate us? You tell me. Us! Because when you are weak, you can be surprising.
Where are we that's
when
tracking
our day
these
comes,
rocks?
When we surprise them in all their strength, on that day they will fear us.
Yeah, okay. Marco knows nobody else can see these things. Wow. Okay. So no rocks just yet. And according to that little star map simulation thing we just saw with Marco, I think the first one is due to hit in 12 days. And it looks like there's a pretty significant number of them. At least 6 to 8 more, I think. The beginning of the episode opened with rock number 9, and it seemed to fly too close to the sun and break up and then destroy that science ship somehow. I'm not quite sure how that was all meant to work out, but I think the science ship was destroyed because it was going to scan and get details about the broken up segments of the rock, and then they might have discovered the stealth technology stuff. So I think that was a preemptive strike to prevent intelligence from getting to the Earth people quick enough for them to do anything about it. So, in the books, Philip led a raid, a mission of sorts, on a Martian shipyard, and it was supremely well timed down to the second for various things. And when certain members of his crew weren't where they were supposed to be when it was time to evac, he was driven in his mission and left behind members of his crew. Just like in the actual show here, there was a problem with some timing. One of those dudes got stuck, and rather than risk the mission to try and save him, he sacrificed that member of his crew. And this was certainly meant to represent how devoted to the cause and how fully immersed and indoctrinated Philip is. He is 100% bought in to Marco Inaros' plan, and as his son, probably feels like he has something to prove. He must be as ruthless, more ruthless, and absolutely devoted to this cause as anyone could conceivably be. Otherwise, he's just the son of the guy. So he probably has a little chip on his shoulder to prove that he's not just there because he's Philip Inaros, but because he is a true warrior of the OPA. And that scene was a stand-in for that other scene in the books, where this was theoretically much earlier in the timeline, where they were initially acquiring the stealth paint technology by stealing it from a Martian shipyard and then basically destroying the entire shipyard to cover up the fact that they had done that. In this version of the story, in the show, it seems like Bobby's criminal syndicate is a small piece of what is a much larger web of organizations that the OPA has basically infiltrated the Martian government and is getting all of the stuff they need, including the stealth tech, including the communications encryption stuff. All of that stuff is filtering to Marco through this Martian corruption syndicate that Bobby was just one tiny little, very low level piece of. And it seems like her story in this season is working as a investigator for Christian to try and track what's happening and why and how this is all going down. And one good consequence of that is that she managed to acquire for herself a suit of power armor. That was the mission that she accomplished right at the very beginning of this episode, or the early parts of this episode. She was able to work the black market to get herself power armor. So that'll probably come into play later in the season. The interesting part about this book this season is that the crew just gets flung all over the solar system. Alex and Amos leave first. Alex heading for Mars, Amos heading for Earth. And according to what I know from the book, he literally is doing exactly what he told Christian he was doing. A friend of his died, and he's going to go make sure that everything is cool there. Alex, I don't think he knows what he's doing. He's heading to Mars to try and, resolve his sins of the past, but it's just gonna be futile, I think. And given that Bobby's story is different now than it was in the books, I don't know exactly how those two are destined to mix. So that remains to be seen, and I think that it will end up with Alex getting slightly mired in Bobby's intrigue. And then, of course, Naomi gets word of a sighting of Philip and heads out to go and try and catch up with him, do something, convince him to not be a member of the OPA. In the books, that wasn't on Palace Station. I think that she actually went to Ceres, and that is where she connected with him. It could be that there was a Palace Station connection prior to that. I'm not quite sure if I remember, but ultimately, we're going to end up with Naomi mired in whatever Philip has going on. And then, of course, Holden, basically the linchpin of the whole crew, kind of stays with the Rosie as it's being repaired, but may or may not leave depending on how they change the story from how the books play out. And yeah, so that's where that's where I have high hopes for where we're going with the story. I honestly don't know what pieces are going to happen in what order, and in this case, it makes things great for me because I can't predict what'll happen. It means I'm basically watching this story almost for the first time, despite having read the books, which is a great space for me because I very much enjoy the TV version of this story, and in almost all cases, I think that they have firmly improved the storyline with every change that they have made to it. And it's not very often that you get a piece of literature that's adapted to a visual medium where that visual medium, the story and everything is actually better. But I honestly believe that in this case, that's what's going on. The books are incredible, but the TV show is it's just better. They took another run at it and made changes that just improve it. A couple of things really stood out for me with things related to physics and gravity and so on. One of the things that I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in my commentary in an earlier season, where despite the fact that there is no directionality to these spaces where they have no gravity, they always were representing all of the people in a scene in the same orientation. Everyone chose the same verticality. Even though there is no reason that had to be, probably for budget reasons, they just chose to have everyone stay on the floor. And in this episode, we saw, for I believe the very first time, some dude just casually mag boot walking along the ceiling as everyone else is walking along a floor. And it really amps up the immersion in the reality of this weightless space, right? Because there's no reason someone couldn't be walking along the wall or the ceiling or whichever direction you wanted to do it, because when you're weightless, your perspective depends on what you have oriented yourself to. And most of these spaces should be designed to be usable pretty much every which way. So I was really grateful that they finally had included a little detail like that to really drive home. We are weightless, and the gravity, the mag boots, are the only thing that's maintaining a frame of reference for us. And that was very, very cool. And then, of course, Holden, casually placing his coffee cup in midair, looking around, and then going back and picking it and flipping it and, grabbing it back out of the air. Very, very cool little effects that just give you that sense of we're in a real physical world where gravity just simply isn't present. It's still a law, it's still a physical law, but we're not near a source of gravity. And I really enjoy that they're including those things, and things like Holden just sort of rising up a ladder well because he's just kind of jumped and he's moving through that space, and then he, you know, steps in and connects his mag boots. All of that stuff was just deliciously well done, and it really enhances the immersion. I loved it a lot. They did several things this episode that really drove home that weightless aspect, and I enjoyed it a lot. We got a bunch of very long exterior shots, especially the super long landing sequence for Luna when the freighter that Amos was on was coming in for a landing. And then that sense of scale just really popped as we got closer, and then that huge freighter just shrank down to fit into a tiny little docking space. Really gave you the sense of how big this whole thing is, and them doing that type of thing really drives home the nature of this world, and it's a lot of fun. Oh boy, I really appreciate all of you guys that have been sticking with us, watching and commenting, and apologize for a little while back we had some serious problems with copyright issues coming in and requiring us to do multiple uploads of several episodes, and I'm hoping that we're through those things. But it seems like ever since we've gotten into the portions of this series where Amazon was the originator, they're a lot more strict with their copyright, so it requires some more tuning and work to make it happen. So I appreciate you sticking with me and being patient. Thank you guys so much for all the likes and all the comments and all of your support in every way that you do it. We appreciate all of it. See you guys in the next video.